The Michigan governor, Rick Snyder, signed a bill this week to start drug testing some welfare recipients. Now, if you're wondering how the hell can we be going through this bullshit again, you're right to wonder that, because this was already struck down by multiple different courts, and they passed this law, under the assumption that we need to do it because it saves the state money. That's why we're doing it. And of course, in fact, it's the exact opposite. So I have some specifics on that. They say, quote, research has shown that that drug testing welfare recipients can be costly. Last August, state figures showed that Utah had spent $30,000 to screen for and test welfare recipients who were suspected of abusing drugs, and had found only 12 people who had tested positive for drug use. Just 12 people in the entire state. They say in Florida, just 2.6% of the people tested by the state in 2011 were found to be using narcotic drugs. That program, according to state records, cost the state more money than it saved. So yet again, even the reasoning that they're using to defend it doesn't make any sense, because they're wrong, factually speaking. Now, also in Tennessee, less than 1% of welfare users were on drugs, meaning that the percentage of drug users in general throughout the entire population is higher than the percentage of drug users in the welfare recipient population. Isn't that stunning? Isn't that interesting? Because it flips the stereotype exactly on its head. Of course, the stereotype is, well, if you hold down a job, you're an upright, upstanding citizen who does the right thing and keeps their nose clean and keeps their chin up and yada, yada, yada. No, it turns out that the percentage of drug users in the overall society is higher than that in the welfare community. But the entire conversation is irrelevant anyway, because here's the important point. How can you justify testing welfare recipients for drugs when you could test all people who take taxpayer money for drugs? Because that's their argument. Their argument is, well, we should test them because they're getting taxpayer money, so therefore you should know what they're putting in their body. Okay, well then you have to drug test everybody who takes taxpayer money. So sorry, but you know who's going to have to get tested? Every single politician. Every politician in America takes a check from the government, whether it's the state government or the federal government or you name it. So if you guys want to drug test these people, great. You have to drug test yourselves too, just to be consistent, man. And while you're at it, also make your grandma and your grandpa piss in a cup. Now, why do I say that? Because older people get Social Security. They get Medicare. So if you really want to drug test everybody who's ever received any amount of government money, okay, got to drug test more than half the population. So this is a ridiculous notion anyway. And I should add, it's not like the people who are taking welfare, the people who are taking unemployment insurance, that they are just parasites. They are just leeches taking money from the hardworking people. No, in order to get unemployment insurance, you have to have worked for a certain amount of time anyway. So you paid your taxes when you were working, and then if you fall on hard times and you lose your job, you're simply getting that money back through an unemployment check or through a welfare check. So why should the government step in when you are getting back your own money? Why should the government step in and tell you to pee in a cup because they want to see exactly what you've put in your body? You want to talk about big government? I thought all the conservatives were against big government, but yet it's the conservatives who are pushing for this legislation. So let me get this straight. The conservatives believe in small government, except when it comes to you putting in your body what you want to put in your body. Except when it comes to what literally goes on in your mind, your perception of things, your reality. They want small government except for everything with your body personally. That's the biggest government I can imagine. That's the exact opposite of the government I want.